Welcome to Safe and Sound. I'm Kirk Webb, and here today we have Kym O Farrell and Catrina Jenkins. Both work with Navajo County Emergency Management.
Hi.
How are you guys today?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
Great, thanks. So another just wonderful day, right?
Absolutely.
If we can shut the wind off.
Well, wind's got to happen. It's been nice so far, but so one day of wind, we'll take it.
I guess. But so speaking of wind, though,
Yes.
kind of creates some of the things that we want to talk about today. Create some hazards that we want people to understand and be prepared, and to kind of have some go kits, ready kits.
Ready kits.
So what are some of the things that entails with being ready, and what are we being ready for?
Right. So we want everybody out there to be ready 365 days. So no matter what the threat or the hazard, they are self-sufficient and reliant for at least a few days. A week is better, but get yourself some supplies in your house, your car, and your office or your workplace so that you can hang on until help arrives.
So we're talking about stuff ready to move at a moment's notice, because theoretically that emergency could be.
Right. And not just to move, but to stay put.
Right.
So we brought some examples for you.
Well, let's check it out.
Okay.
So
We have our ready kit for our home here. And in here,
and I like how it says
ready kit.
right
So
up front.
it's ready, like you said. If I need to grab it and go, it's got nice sturdy handles and everything's in one place. So you want to talk about this part?
Sure. So what you want to have is some non-perishable food that has a high level of protein, good nutrients in it. So, and it's easy to cook. So this just requires water.
Speaking of which,
We got some water.
we've got some water.
Nice.
And I'm going to set this down here on the floor.
So speaking on water, ideally you want to have a gallon of water per person
And we have some chicken
Per
soup.
day, right?
per day.
Yeah. So if
have
you got a
some
large
soup.
family, we're going to be having lots of water then. Aren't we?
Right. and if I can find it, there should be a can opener in here.
But there's lots of interesting ways of how to open a can without a can opener.
That is true.
And kind of learning. I learned one technique is you can actually take it on asphalt or some kind of rough surface like that, and just rub the can lid over and over and over again, and until it wears down the metal, and then it just pops right off.
Well, there you go.
Pretty
That's
simple.
a new one to
Who
me.
needs a can opener,
You learn lots of things on the internet,
right?
and not everything is true there though. I've learned
No.
that.
Good job. So we also have some storage supplies in case we have leftovers or in case of other needs. You have some baggies there. Now,
'Cause
this is an important one.
Well, I was going to say, because if we're dealing with an emergency, you want to save those leftovers, because that may need to last you for
Right.
multiple days.
Yeah, you don't want to just toss them.
Right.
But not just food for humans. We want to make sure that we have our pets taken care of. So I've got a cat at home, so there's her food for a couple of days. So
Nice.
what else do we have? This one's important.
It is.
Well, I learned Spanish, a long time ago, and we call it the papel necesario.
Yeah, I think we can all get that one. No Google translation needed here.
Just a no gee whiz. All right.
So we've got gloves in case we need to do any kind of activity outdoors, bring in some wood if it's winter time, or mess with some tools or anything. You want to have some good heavy-duty gloves to protect your hands. Sanitation's important, so we've got some wipes. Those are good for hands. Wiping off surfaces. Make sure you keep your areas clean.
Multiple purpose.
Multi-purpose there.
Yes.
I suggest a big box.
Yes, yes. Well, I've got another one. Like I said, I've got another tote at home, and it's got more of those in a bigger jar. So cups in case you need them. I always have my reusable cup, but just in case you might have some friends or something that are with you, and they might not have their cup.
You don't want to share cups?
Well,
Yeah, that's part of
You can
going back to
reuse
that
them.
sanitary, right?
Right. And speaking of sanitary, I have some hand sanitizer in here just in case the water's out.
Right.
Because part of our disaster could be a water main break and we're out of water for a couple of days. So
Could be a flood, and
So-
you're not able to consume the water or use the water.
And on that note, I just recently did some training with emergency, the community emergency response team type stuff.
yes.
And they talked about, water purification tablets. Sorry, I couldn't get that word out of there, But, and also I was learning some cool things. They make cups that have its own filtration system
Right.
in there. So you put whatever water in there, and you don't even necessarily have to boil it, things like that. There's different techniques of being able to
Absolutely.
purify water, and because that could easily happen. Look at earthquakes around the world that are happening, and
Yep.
and the water gets contaminated. And now what are you going to do? We
Right.
kind of can't survive without water.
Exactly. And we would, of course, send out messaging through our Ready Navajo County alert system
Right.
to let people know if they did need to boil their water or not drink out of the faucet.
So talking about water purification, there are lots of different things, different techniques. I know water purification tablets are not always the best thing to use. Boiling water can be,
Boiling water.
is I think that's probably the always going to be
Right.
perfect to use, or the good one to
The
fall
best
back
one.
on.
The best one, obviously, is to have bottled water on hand.
Right.
So that you don't have to drink. You can, wash with boiled water and some
Right.
of those other uses. But to drink or ingest, you want to have some bottled water. That's why we recommend at least 1 gallon per person per day.
Yeah.
So if you have a family of 4, you need 4 gallons for 1 day, which is a
Wow.
lot of water.
It is.
And
But-
you need to include your pets as well in that water consumption.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, don't forget the pets.
Don't forget the pets.
I thought my kids were the pets. Dang it.
Well, my pets are the kids.
Okay. I guess it's vice versa, just
Vice
depending on your
versa.
situation, right?
Right.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are some cool items out there. I was learning that there's containers just like your drink bottles
Mm-hmm.
that have a built-in filtration system, and you put the nasty water in, and then you squeeze, and it goes
Right.
through the filtering, and it's pretty cool.
And there's filtration straws, so you actually drink through the straw, and it filters as it's going through the straw. There are limitations to how many times you can use any of these kinds of devices. So again,
Right.
have some bottled water on hand whenever possible, and try to avoid having to use those devices if necessary.
Right.
But they are handy to have just in case.
Now going back to the oatmeal, not that I'm a fan of oatmeal,
Nothing wrong with a good
but-
old-fashioned hearty bowl of oatmeal.
and I guess it has its place somewhere in the world, right? Yeah.
Fills the void.
That's right. But it's cold. How are we going to take care of that?
So we've got, glad you asked. Thanks, Kirk. Handy dandy canned heat. So we have a way of heating if you don't have a fireplace or another method of cooking, if you're relying on electricity or gas that may not be working in certain disasters, you have an alternate source of heat to cook food.
And these are simple devices, and they make nice little stands that you can put under there,
Yeah.
just kind of like a portable fire stove.
Exactly.
So one of the other things with using canned heat, is that really, should we kind of do that indoors? In fact, what does the label say on there? Kind of spells it out pretty specifically.
Well, obviously it is flammable, and it does say to use in a well-ventilated area.
Because of the threat of carbon monoxide.
Right. So, Kym, what are the other things that we want to be aware of for heat issues?
Well, you don't want to bring, say, a camp stove in and be cooking on your camp stove. Again, carbon monoxide. You never want to bring an outdoor grill inside to use that. So you just need to make sure that you're well versed in the instructions of
Right.
your
And in
equipment.
fact, when you said grill, it kind of reminded me a few years ago when we had the cedar fire and we were in all those restrictions and everything going on, and we had people calling us up, well, can I just move my barbecue grill into my garage? And I'm thinking, well, you know, if you want to suffer carbon monoxide and maybe get really sick or die, sure, I guess, you know, but no, we recommend totally against any kind of open flame like that inside the house.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want to have that chimney, that flue that takes those fumes out of the house. So
Correct.
that's why chimneys are okay and grills are not. And same thing
Right.
goes for generators. You don't want to have a generator inside for the same exact reason. So
You know, and we're seeing a lot more people having backup generators on their homes and getting it tied into their house, and so they can still function even
Right.
because, you know, I know we never have power go out around here, but they are getting better.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, there's nothing that, you know, because I work very closely with our power companies, and they do a great job out there, especially when the storms, the snow's hitting and power lines are down everywhere, and they're scrambling. You know, they cover a large area, and our electricians, you know, the electric companies do a great job of keeping the power on for us, but we've seen some of those cases where they've moved generators inside. Not a good.
don't leave the generator outside. They're a great thing, but leave them outside.
Yeah. So also in our little ready kit, we got some other cool items.
The best thing ever.
My son loves duct tape.
Duct tape.
I don't
Yeah.
know a man alive who doesn't love duct tape.
Duct tape.
He's on the Odyssey of the Mine team, and that's one of their main staples.
Right?
Duct tape.
Duct tape
Fixes
fixes
everything.
That's right.
everything.
In fact, we were kind of joking a little bit on a break. Where's the baling wire?
Right?
You know, that's not a bad idea to maybe
not a
have
bad
something like that in there as well, and a pair of pliers to be able to work it. But duct tape is awesome.
Duct tape works.
Yeah.
All right, Kym, I'll hand this one to you.
So in every good kit, you want to have flashlights. This Kat bought at a big box store, and it's a combination. It's a flashlight, it's a radio, and it's a siren. So you always want to have working flashlights, extra batteries in your Go kit, just to make sure that your flashlights stay working. This is a hand crank.
So this one's cool. It doesn't even need batteries.
Don't even need
No,
batteries.
has an antenna on it. So you would just crank it up, and you can get the weather report on it, and any other pertinent information that comes through. Also, there's a siren on it, so if you needed help, you could turn that on as well.
So that way you're not losing your voice from yelling and screaming and
There you go.
hollering, right?
Exactly.
And it's cool. You can be able to crank, and you don't need batteries. Because how often do you have a flashlight and then it's like,
There.
Always seems to be
and you
out.
can just run right down to the store, because in an emergency, the store's got everything you need, right?
Exactly. If the store's open.
And if the shelves haven't been emptied.
Right.
Right.
So what does this cost?
You know, I think that one was around $20.
So
If
not
not expensive at all. There's different models. I actually have another one that is also a hand crank, but it also has a solar charge capability. So we actually have two of these, and they're handy because if you need more than one, if one fails, you have a backup. Always have a backup to the backup, right? So
Kind of
being
like
ready.
being prepared.
Being ready.
Like, yeah.
So, and then a couple other little things we have is like some little scratch pads, pencils, pencil sharpener. It would be good to have some markers, coloring books. And why would we want that?
Well, kids need to be entertained.
And adults.
including big kids. So you want to keep them occupied.
And then as you're creating your kit, I mean, realistically, looking at all this stuff, you're talking $50, $60 maybe, something
Maybe.
like that, in that range. Maybe the totes will even a little more expensive.
And a lot of this stuff you already may have in your home.
Right, exactly. And you need to kind of rotate this around, because it's going to have expiration dates
Yeah.
on there. And so kind of take a look at where, when's the last time you opened up your ready kit as you're creating it. And use some of this stuff and put stuff in there that you're going to use, not something foreign like me. I'm probably not going to put in the oatmeal. I may go with something more like the grits. I'm okay. Some people like the grits, some like the oatmeal, but use stuff, put stuff in there that you're going to use, because then you can rotate it around.
And you don't want to use the most expensive brands or anything like that, because again, this is to have it just in case, and you do want to rotate it out. A great time to remember to do that is the time change dates. While Arizona doesn't change times, it's a good time to check your batteries in your smoke detectors and check your ready kit.
Sounds good. Now, is this the only kind of ready kit we need to kind of talk about? There's some other ones, right? So should we kind of put this stuff back in?
Yeah.
And
we can chuck it all in here. We'll organize it later.
Well, and even unorganized, it looks like it almost all fit just the way you had it almost, right?
Almost. There you go.
All right.
And this, I'm going to scoop back here. So
Next up, we have a ready kit for your vehicle.
Cool.
This comes in a handy little case. You can just pop it in your trunk, your back seat, wherever you may have room.
Well, I like what it's labeled, just in case.
right.
So in here, there's a ton of stuff in this little bitty bag. Again, we'll start from the top. We have some hand sanitizer, some snacks. This is a protein bar here. Some beef jerky.
Nice.
My son would love that. He's always begging.
And there again, some more protein.
There you go. This looks, some emergency road flares.
Right.
In case you're stuck on the side of the road. I believe these just snap and you just lay them out on the road and they're easy to use. This is one of my very favorite tools. This is a window punch, a seatbelt cutter, multi-use tool. Very important to have in your kit.
So is it an obedience thing for the kids too?
It could be. It could be.
All right, just checking.
Carmex, or some kind of lip protectant.
Some kind of, I'm always one that I can't stand my lips to be dry, so I've got to have something. So I try to put some of that, a lotion or something, in all of my kits.
Well, and not only that, it's a health thing too, because your lips start getting dry. That's a sign that you're getting dehydrated, and so.
So blanket. You always want to carry extra blankets, especially in the wintertime. Extra blankets, extra sleeping bags to keep yourself warm in case you're stranded on the side of the road. To go along with that, it's always good to have coats, gloves, extra change of clothes for everyone in your vehicle.
Especially an extra pair of socks for everyone, because if your feet get wet and it's wintertime, frostbite happens really fast. So
and
you want to
cold feet just are not fun.
They're not fun.
They're not. So
what else?
Also in here we have some jumper cables.
It's all strapped in there.
And a toe strap, it looks like.
Yes.
Let me help you.
Thank you.
So we've got the heavy duty toe strap with a hook and everything.
Now this is something that you can set out behind your vehicle or in front, depending on, you may have the flares in the back and you may put this in the front, but this just lets people know that you're there. It's kind of a reflector.
Right, so it sets up as a triangle.
Yes.
It's, reflective triangle, they call it. So.
And it's even one you can attach. It's got the little suction cup, so you can attach it to a window. Lets emergency crews know, hey, I'm here.
Please help me.
Help. Send help.
Right.
So it looks like this is just a bit of personal care stuff, some antiseptic towelettes, first aid card should you have some bleeding or anything like that going on. We'll kind of walk you through that. A poncho, always good. If you have to get out of your vehicle, it's raining or snowing, you want to do the best you can to keep your clothes dry.
Absolutely.
So back to the flashlight. I think this is a common theme in all of our kits. So a flashlight.
You mean it's not always daytime when we're
Extra
broke
batteries.
down, or
No, it's not.
in an emergency, right?
No, it's
Perfect
not.
weather.
And then another common theme, gloves. If you need to do something on your vehicle, it's cold, you want to make sure that you wear these to protect your hands.
Now the fun part's going to be putting all this
Back in here.
back in. And,
Little air compressor.
And here's an air compressor. You can use this on your tires if you have a flat and it's not punctured.
And this is a kit that's already put together. You just can go down to the store, pick it up, purchase it, keep it in your car.
You know, and again, less than $50.
Right.
We're not asking folks to go out and spend the most amount of money to get the fanciest kit out there. Throw in one of the things that I liked about this kit was there's actually a little extra storage space, so I can throw some oil, some bottles of water in this little kit, and it's all set and ready to go in the trunk of my car. Now the water I wouldn't leave in there 24 all the time, but just when I was getting ready to travel.
Right. Now we're about out of time, and we didn't quite get to our final kit.
Yes.
But is there much difference between? I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by that the lid on this kit.
So there's not a lot of difference.
Everything's pretty much the same, right?
Right.
But
This is our office kit or your work kit.
Right.
We work in an office setting, so we've had incidents at our building in which a toilet was needed. So this is a bucket, and it has a toilet lid on the top.
I'm assuming, along with the toilet lid, which attaches to the bucket, I'm assuming there's probably a garbage sack in there somewhere. There you go.
There's stuff to make it smell less bad and things like that. We've got, you know, again, a first aid kit, the snacks.
Right.
Another radio. Again, these are all common things that you're going to find. It's not expensive. Again, less than $50.
Right. And if you have questions on how to put a kit together, do you have something on your website that has a list of all the things, and do you have to be limited to just that, or
No.
can you add? So you personalize these kits to yourself and to your vehicles and to your
workplace. So yeah, you go to NavajoCountyAZ.gov/ready. That'll take you to the emergency management page. You can also follow us on
Facebook.
Sweet.
Navajo County Emergency Management
That's it.
Preparedness page.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're actually doing a series on there now that has to do with Ready, Set, Go and building these kits and putting your personal documents together. And
Nice. And I'm glad you mentioned Ready, Set, Go, because at the end of this, our little conversation we're having here, they're gonna play the video.
This region we are fortunate enough to call home is unique and full of natural beauty. That beauty, however, can come with risks. Make sure you are prepared in case of a catastrophic wildfire with these Ready, Set, Go tips.
Be ready by preparing emergency kits and items of importance or necessity, ensuring that they are easily accessible. You should also be fire-wise by creating defensible space around your home to help protect your property from wildfire in the event of an evacuation.
When setting up an emergency kit, remember items such as water, nutritious foods such as nuts or protein bars, a flashlight with extra batteries, important documents such as your license or prescriptions, and don't forget your pets. They need food and water and any medications they might be taking too. It's also recommended to stay informed during an emergency by signing up for notifications from Ready Navajo County. You can also check 311info.net or monitor Navajo County social media sources.
By setting a plan and keeping emergency supplies easily accessible, you and your family will be ready in the event of a fire.
Now that your emergency kit is ready and your evacuation plan is set, review and practice the plan with your family to ensure everyone knows what to do if an evacuation is ordered.
You and your family should be set to go if an evacuation is ordered. Be sure to follow information updates from official sources only and have your emergency kits ready by the door.
In the event of an evacuation, shelter will be made available for you and your pets. Drop-off locations will also be created for large animals and livestock.
Make sure your house is prepared inside and out, and review your family's plan one more time. It's crucial to be prepared and ready to leave, because when an evacuation is ordered, it's time to go.
It's also crucial to follow evacuation orders, as alternative routes could land you and your family in a dangerous place. Listen to emergency personnel on scene, follow their instructions, and make sure you and your family get to safety.
We love our community and we love our residents. Let's make sure we keep both safe during an emergency by following these tips. Ready, set, go, because being prepared can save your life.
And again, Kym O, Farrell and Catrina Jenkins. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Please tune in again next month when we're going to have another show of Safe and Sound.